Right, hello. This is a pathologic dating simulator that I found on Tumblr. Uh, it was made by. Oh, geez, I can't read Russian, but well. I'm gonna leave the link to this game in the description. So if you want to play it for yourself completely for free on itch.io, um, you can do so. I'm having this is a demo as of right now. I don't know, is it gonna be more developed in the future? But I have big hopes for this. I'm really curious to see what's this got in store for us. So let's try it out. Why not? You know? We are obliged to warn you about possible triggers before starting the game. This game features text descriptions and visual of blood and gore, smoking, drinking alcohol, cruelty, war, profanity, disease, plague, and sexually explicit scenes. Oh shit. Oh shit, am I ready for this? Alright. Choose your character. Whose mask will you wear this time? I kinda wanna play as the Bachelor. Yeah, let's go with the Bachelor. This is the choice. Bachelor. Daniil Dankovsky, a Bachelor of Medicine, found himself in this town by the will of wicked circumstances. He got his hopes up, took a gamble, and lost, coming out with nothing, and now, frankly, he had no idea what to do next. Nearly an eternity had passed. He couldn't wrap his head around it. Contrary to the rumors that were rapidly spreading through the town, Daniil did not drown himself in Twyrine, did not try to end his life, and did not live at the station waiting for a magic train. In fact, he wandered aimlessly through the streets. He frowned at the empty pedestal of the polyhedron, once drenched in the blood of the earth, and he waited. Waited for another letter to arrive. From someone, anyone. But the mailbox was empty. It's been a tough September. How did that feel? Eh? Yes, it was nerve-wracking. Twyrine? No, thank you. I have my head screwed on well enough not to disappear in the bottom of a bottle. I like your attitude. Coffee it is, then. The air reeked of bitter burnt coffee beans, which a week ago Daniel had chewed whole just to stay awake. You look like you're lost. Maybe you need help? I'll pass. One needs advice while on the edge of the abyss, gazing into the void. Huh? Are you sure you don't need instructions? I suppose it might be useful to run through a few things. They say repetition is the mother of learning. Let's put things in perspective. You are a famous thanatologist who ended up in a town at the fate's decree. You are a wanted man, and a tribunal awaits you in the capital. Here you have encountered many challenges and faced with the unknown, lost the war against death, giving victory to your opponent and brother in misfortune. Now all that remains is to rely on fate and listen not to intuition, but to the people who are still alive thanks to your actions. That does have a familiar ring to it. Any chance you played in the theater? Truth be told, I'm a terrible actor. You must have imagined it. The barkeep waved his hand enigmatically and handed Daniel a cup of coffee. The epidemic is behind us. There is no more need to save anyone. Now only the people around you will determine how the performance will end. If you are rude, the line between you and the person will tear. Offer help, and at the appointed hour there will be a knock on your door. God, so much pathos. And how much time do I have to find a new purpose? In a factory, rumor has it that the train will arrive in 5 days. Enough to write a new story, I had 12 of them. 4 more, give or take. 5 is too few, but I'll take that. Should I remind you of the people who are waiting for you in town? You'll get some practice at making a choice. All you have to do is click on the queue. Yes. The Twyrine barkeep always hears who needs help in town. In this town. Go on then, be sure to visit Artemy at his father's house. He looked lost the last time we met. Miss Maria Kaina is truly miserable about what happened to the polyhedron. Perhaps you can soothe her. General Block is back in the town. I saw soldiers at the bridge square and the station. And don't forget to have a chat with Ava. I believe she is going to the capital with Miss Lyuricheva. We are all worried about the bird from the still water. As you can see, there is plenty to do in the town. Are you pestering my clients again? Don't listen to his mumbo-jumbo, Daniel. Let's go indulge in nostalgia. Peter and I popped a mean bottle of Twyrine. That's what he meant. Sounds tempting. Maybe you'll figure out a way to get me out of this hole together. Blast you, Denkovsky. You're no fun. Can't be helped, eh? Stay anyway. I'll have you know, my coffee is to die for. And I'm not even going to spike it. Not with anything that could knock you off your feet. Much obliged, Andre. Always a man of exceptional kindness. Sounds too enticing to refuse. I think my body would rebel if I tried. They took a seat by the wall at the very end of the bar counter. One simple wave of Andre's hand to the barkeep, and a moment later the delightful aroma of coffee informed Daniil he had made the right decision. It feels so strange to just sit back and enjoy the peace. I used to be run off my feet, stopping by this place just to check on your health, and then back again in an everlasting marathon to 1,000 more places. Yeah, and by the look of things, you were going from bad to worse. You seem better now, but still tired. People say hard work never killed anybody, but you know what? Why take the chance? These doors are always open for you, my friend. Come by any time. I can't promise a big show, but a drink's always in order. Or you can just sit back and relax. Not a bad thing for your health either. I may take you up on that offer. It's a nice place. I like it here. After the epidemic, the place shone for me in a new light. Even now, I loathe the idea of leaving. I'd go as far as to say most of the credit for that belongs to me. Without a doubt, Andre. Denying the obvious is not in my nature. What about you? Simmer down a bit, I see. No more axes to grind with Block's soldiers. You're not wrong there. I did get bent out of shape, of course I did. Just about brought girls to tears with the berserk fury twisting my face. My brother and I, we've talked a lot, and I mean a lot, and decided to move on. We have to. We are free to make our future better than it is now. It is a golden opportunity. We'd be fools to squander it. Brother has it harder than I do, of course, but we are together. We'll manage. Right, Petya? Until now, Daniel hadn't noticed that Peter was behind a table not far away. He had some paper sheets spread in front of him with what looked like children's drawings on them. Daniel couldn't see clearly what they were of, but Peter was eyeing them with a faint smile, a great rarity. With a little start, Peter awkwardly got up from the table and approached them. What were you saying, brother? I was saying you keep your chin up. What have you got there, Grace's drawings? Yeah. She brought some fresh ones just this morning. Here's one with a rose. It looks like a flower, and not a flower at all. She understands me, the little one. The polyhedron was a flower. Sooner or later, all flowers must turn to decay. It's part of their life cycle. However, they can still leave something behind. Seeds. So, grieve not, Peter. Although the polyhedron is never to return, perhaps there is a chance for you to grow another flower. The seeds, yes. Could she be that seed? Someone planted it deep within my very soul. Who knows? Something good might come of it now. He's talking about Grace. I should be grateful to whoever thought of putting her in Peter's care. She's staying with the Sabrovs now, naturally, but she hasn't given up on my brother. Keeps coming back every day, twice a day sometimes. He teaches her to draw, and she in turn keeps him busy with all sorts of tales. Some stories she's heard, some she's made up. He relishes it all. I'm almost toying with the idea that maybe, just maybe, everything will be all right. Peter looked at the drawings once more, still clutching them in his hands, and raised his eyes to his brother. Then a timid smile appeared on his face. That sounds like a very sensible approach to me. Good on you two for being so rational with your lives. Apathy and procrastination will never lead to a brighter future. Rational, you say? That's bullshit. We do as we see fit, Daniel. No calculations. I do my calculations just fine when dealing with architecture, but in real life, I trust my gut. I see. It's just that you were so sensible about the whole thing. I thought that for once, Andrew stammered and used his head to get his act together. Well, I'm sorry for insulting you with such an assumption. I'll overlook it, just this once. Thank you for looking out for us, me and my little brother. This town has something very special about it. I still can't put my finger on what exactly it is. I do believe you should stick around, though. The place is just right for your ingenious ventures. You're not wrong there. The Kynes are already in discussion about a town planning design for the other side of Gorgon. This has to be something superior. I'm not sure whether we'll take a whole new town up on ourselves yet, but I'm dead set on that it should be a real game changer. I can only wish you the best of luck. Personally, I'll be leaving as soon as I've got my affairs in order. But I'll be glad to have a chance to come again, next time around, to the town across the river. It would be my pleasure to see your new miracle that will leave the world open-mouthed. We will, Daniel. Don't even doubt it. Wait for the invitation letter in a year or two. I believe in you. The polyhedron was a true miracle. No one before you had ever achieved anything quite like it. So you can go that extra mile, reaching for the stars. Isn't that what you've always wanted, Andre? You got that right. Together with my brother, we'll be able to reach even higher. He's no burden to me, like some people think. Daniel, you tried your hardest to save our tower. It may not have been enough, but thank you. Talked your ears off, didn't we, Dankovsky? All those problems. Why don't we have a drink after that, after all, hey? Ah, to hell with you and your sweet talk. Hit me. Yeah. Cheers. You good, Daniel? Maybe that wasn't such a good idea after all. What? What? Oh. Stepping out of the pub, Daniel took a breath of autumn air, damp and cold, without a trace of the heady smell of twilight last. Now, Burak, the Kynes, Block, Ava. People who could help him gain an insight on which path to take next. No, it's okay, I lost. I just got pissed drunk and finished the game. Isidore's house was the closest point to the Stamatins pub. Then Burak was the first in line for a visit, assuming that he was home. Isidore's house conjured unpleasant memories, women screaming in pain, walls tainted with disease. Now that the sandpest had been defeated, there was nothing to fear. And yet, with gritted teeth, Daniel knocked on the door. Swift footsteps echoed from the other side. The door opened and the thick, heavy smell of herbs wafted over Daniel. Standing on the threshold was a familiar boy, Sticky or something. "Whoa, Mr. Bachelor! I heard you were already gone." Daniel could hardly swallow his surprise. Any inquiries could be postponed. He was here on business after all. "You kids ought to know everything. If that is the case, I may ask you if Burak's at home?" "He's home all right, sorting out some precious papers." "Ah, well, if he's busy, then I'll better come back." "Oh, come on in, since you're already here. Maybe you can pull Mr. Burak out of those papers before he buries himself in them." Sticky grabbed Daniil by the arm and rushed him upstairs. Pushing one of the paper piles aside, Artemy Burak picked himself up from the floor to meet him. Daniil? That's unexpected. I thought you'd already left. I almost did, except there's still a couple of things I'd like to discuss with you as a colleague. In private. You heard, Master Bachelor Kid. Take a walk with Murky for a while. Sticky pouted, but left the room nonetheless. Hopefully this way there'll be less rumors about our little chat. So what did you want to talk about? The last thing I expected to see at your place was children. Oh, it just sort of happened. Before I knew it, they already took root here. I don't mind. I don't mind them staying with me. They're charming. I'm glad you have each other. Me too. Okay then, but you didn't come here to ask me about my life, did you? What does your heart want, Emshin? I don't really know whether I'm here to say goodbye or to ask for advice. Should I even leave? There's nothing for me in the capital, except maybe the ruins of Temerka. And this place? I'm not entirely sure what's in store for me hereafter. Daniil's gaze was drawn to the window, the same place where he could always see the tower before. The sky seemed too empty without it. What do you think about helping me in the town? In what way? I thought the little house imps had already spilled the beans on the streets. Well, you see, long story short, I intend to bring the kin and the town together. Father wanted to stitch the town together, to remove this perpetual barrier between the town and the kin. It can't be done overnight, obviously, but we can start, lay the groundwork for the new future. It's a long-term project, of course. There is no special plan either, only an outline for a plan. If we wish to carry on with our lives, eventually the kin should merge with the town, become an extension of it, not an appendage. The children will make their own improvements after that. What do you plan to do with the kin? Their reaction is what truly worries me. The kin are not fond of change, but if anything, they will listen to me. If we wish to carry on with our lives, eventually the kin should merge with the town. Oh, yeah. What do you plan to do with the town? The dormitory definitely has to be reconstructed. That thing is a sardine can. We should also accommodate Katange and the Skinners, step by step. I think I get the gist of it. So what do you think of it? I'm still an outsider. The town's problems are not my concern. But it would be wonderful if you could reconnect the town just as your father wanted you to. That's not true, Ainon. Our lines crossed here for a reason. I wouldn't want them to be separated like this. Well, we shall see. Fata viam invenient. The fates will find a way. Although, some lofty plans you have. Fair enough, that's why I considered starting small. For now, by trying to fix up a hospital. I've only managed to spot one empty house in the atrium, with all that running around the town. That's a start, right? You've been moaning the whole epidemic about the lack of a hospital. Good lord, get out. I didn't know it's such thing. The idea is good, though. Will you help me with it? I could do with the eye of a professional. It'd be my pleasure. Thank you, Ainon. I'll wait for you here tomorrow, then. We can walk to the atrium together. I'll show you around. Wish I could do it today, but the notes won't sort themselves out. Pity. A damned shame indeed. I'll see you tomorrow, Artemy. Be safe. Not wishing to be an entirely bad host, as he put it, Burak showed Daniil to the door. Out of the corner of his eye, Daniil caught sight of a blonde mob behind a bin, the owner of which made a hasty and quite noisy retreat around the corner of the house. A little fly on the wall. Oh well. The conversation went surprisingly smooth. Some would even say a purpose for the nearest future presented itself. Not so bad at all. After all, having Artemy around gives hope that not only can I help the town, but myself too. The army did leave the town upon Gorkin on the 12th day. Daniel had witnessed it himself as the tracks were switched, allowing the rolling stock to move on and leave the depot empty. The only reminder of the artillery once being stationed there was the abandoned shelters and leaflets. The general was recruiting volunteers before his departure. Winkowski huffed. Had they really been deployed at a railroad hall? They could have camped in the steppe and waited for orders from headquarters. Instead, they returned to the town. Artemy suggested that Saburov had invited the military. He definitely could do with their support now more than ever. Daniel opened the door, stepped inside, and from the threshold he heard Alexander's voice. The train arrives at the station in 3 days. The humanitarian aid needs to be delivered to the warehouse workers. They'll do the rest. What about the children? Have they all been extracted from the evacuation point? There's an issue with the orphans. We want to send them back to an orphanage outside the capital, but the locals are adamant, demand they go back. Best not to ask too many questions and just do whatever they say. Approach them. Denkovsky? What are you doing here? Why would the powers that be keep you here? It suddenly struck me as to why the powers that be would keep you here prisoner. Got on someone's bad side? What is it to you? Just go on your way in peace. The army's doing its job and so are you. I've just got an inquisitive mind. You know firsthand how the powers that be treat men of great mark nowadays. Imprisonment, persecution. They put them on a tight leash. I wonder how tight yours is. Don't waste my time, Dankovsky. If you're here on business, spit it out. If you have nowhere else to be, mind your own affairs and stay out of mine. Forgive me if I was a bit vulgar. When did you say the train was coming? In 3 days at best. Apology accepted, but I'd be more careful with my words if I were you. This applies to you too. This applies to you too. People here are distrustful, could turn against you at any given moment. Be more careful with your judgment. Anything else? Or do you plan to continue uselessly wasting your breath with demagoguery? No, Commander. Then I'll get back to work if you'll excuse me. Perhaps I should reconsider my views on Alexander and keep my temper down next time. Gah, how foolish of me. It's not Block's fault what happened. He was just following orders. I have to visit Kain. He built this town, if only indirectly. He must know the best place for a hospital. Good afternoon. Victor isn't home. Is he with you? Good afternoon, Doctor. Am I my father's keeper? I presume he went to see the governor. Can I help you? Before Daniel could answer, Maria continued. I'm actually surprised that you are still here. Aren't the trains running again? They are. I have some unfinished business. In fact, I was just about to discuss part of it with your father. I doubt it's anything I can't handle myself. Let's hear it, Doctor. Well, this town needs a hospital. A proper one, clean, with medication. Barak's house is no longer available, and the place was no hospital in the first place. Not really. If there was anything but rocks and herbs around here, the epidemic wouldn't have taken so many lives. You're right. Uncle Simon had some plans regarding this, but he ran out of time to execute them. I must warn you that the locals will try to put a spoke in your wheel. I know. They'll have to make peace with it. And captandum vulgus, if we allow another outbreak to happen. To captivate the masses. So what do you need for a start? Honestly, everything. Decent medication, not schmauters. Appliances, equipment, staff. But first things first, a place. I've got a few in mind, but we'll have to discuss it with your father. So be it. I'll help you with the hospital for him. Soon I'll have to tend to this town anyway. And I'll help you find a suitable building. That would that would be very kind of you, Maria. In the cold light of day, as they say, I'll come back tomorrow to discuss the details, okay? We can meet at the place you found most suitable. Would the evening be convenient for you? Yes, thank you, and have a good day. I took a moment to listen to myself. It was unusual to feel hopeful that things were finally beginning to turn out well. I didn't expect Maria to rise to the call. Is she really willing to help the town? Or is it the responsibility of the mistress to be pushing her to do it? Better not speculate. I'm just glad to find an unexpected ally. The day had been no more difficult than those he had gone through during the epidemic. And yet it was not surprising that he felt tired by the time a familiar house finally appeared before his eyes. Jankowski sighed and stepped over the threshold of the Stillwater, which day after day had welcomed him with warmth. Not only the warmth of the house itself, but of the hostess who invariably met him in its hallway. Ava stepped towards the Neil and reached out to help him take off his coat. There was no need to stop her now. Traces of the deadly contagion would no longer get up one's sleeves or down one's cuffs. You came. I was afraid you would leave. The town is so empty now without a tower, especially here in the stone yard. Every time you look out the window facing the square, so many have died. Too many. Yes, too many. Your eyes are so cold, deep black circles under them. Do you blame yourself for how the tower... that she's gone now? Don't you dare think that. You had nothing to do with it at all. You've done so much for us. Maybe I can help you now, since I couldn't die for you. After all, there is still so much to do in the capital. I want to be by your side when you continue your battle. I want to be part of your fight. I want to make amends for my inaction. I fight and win alone, Ava. Yes, I see. Everything is the same as before. You don't want my help. Why is that? You could help Artemy and me with the hospital. Sisters of Mercy are always needed. Or you could leave with Julia. She seems to be interested too. Together the two of you will be safer and we'll have more fun on the train. I'm going to go. I'm tired. All right, whatever you say. But if you need real help, I'll be here. Thank you, Ava. I am touched by your determination. Good night. Despite the end of the plague, there is still a lot to do. However, I might even be glad of it. Ava is so caring and kind. I could never trade a life for a fragile perfection. I could never trade a life for fragile perfection. They won. No, come on. Oh no, was that all? Huh. Alright, so I guess that was it. It was the first day. A demo. That makes sense. I guess I'll come back to it after there's more. Or I could play as Artemy next time. And yeah, wait for more content. But this is looking really promising. Yeah, I'll do the Artemy route another time. Try it out. Well, this was cool. See you later. And I can't recommend this game enough. Like, the writing here so far is really good, and the choices actually have reason to them. It makes sense. I like it. And I love the Bachelor's, like, the way he's characterized, and the few little Latin phrases he still uses. It's wonderful. Alright, bye. See you later.